Well, first, let me say hi. I had trouble, like, yeah, last night. I was just kind of a lot of thoughts. Yesterday, we went and had dinner with my granddaughter. It was her birthday, and it was nice. Her mom was there, and, you know, it was nice sitting there with my son and his ex-wife and his current wife, and just, seeing that it's all about her. She was so happy, and it just did my heart some kind of good to see that she's loved so much that things can be put aside just for her. So, I had to learn a little bit of something about it when I got home. But anyway, these guys, they were like really, they're the newest people in the house. And, well, except for the old scuffed up nose one down there, he's been around a while, and the one poo in the basket who's trying to take over. But the rest of them guys, I think they're pretty new. Well, they're new here anyhow. But when I got home, they were staring at me, so I thought, well, y'all gonna come on out here and let me talk to you. But I just heard the boys get on the bus, and that's what I wanted to do, is tell them I love them. And I wanted to share something with you, and I wanted to first make, this is an apology to anyone and everyone, and more so to, if for any reason that, like Mary's ex-husband, Steve, if he was to ever see anything that I've said, I really want to apologize to him, because he got thrown in here just like I did, and a lot of the others in our family have been. They got drug in because she, uses anything and everything. And that's why, I just couldn't let that be that way and let people think. I mean, I started hearing some pretty sad things, and it really upset me. That's why I had to do what I had to do to keep, the truth about. I don't want my grandchildren or great grandchildren or anyone else's children to hear the garbage that she says, and there be no other story behind it. But then I realized that I've allowed her to get to me, not really get to me, but cause me to speak before I think, which is where I'm going with this. He was really he's an innocent person, because I was trying to remember back, when I first met him. And, I got to, I really got, sometimes your conscience is your best conviction. And I feel bad because, I remember he was really nice to me. He was very helpful. And, he seemed like when him and her first got married, he really seemed to be like a good thing in her life. And I'm not going to say he, would have been, or what. I'm not going to say, because no one knows, really about a person's life, a marriage, unless you're actually living there with them 24 hours a day. So I'm not going to say one way or the other if they would have been good. But from what I saw, I mean, but they were first married, and it seemed like they both were they seemed happy, a little childish, but happy. And, I'm not gonna try to go into no more than that. But I was thinking, I allowed myself to say something that made her use him as her reference, whether I talked about him or not. That's where it went, and that's where I shouldn't have allowed it to, because he really doesn't have anything to do with what she does and says. And so I feel bad about that, because I did to him exactly what she's doing to my family, that I was trying to make sure that they knew that, you know, Grandma wouldn't stand for anyone to rip us apart that way. So I got to apologize, and I'm going to be doing my very best to consider what I'm thinking about saying or writing before I do it. I won't allow, um, I'm not going to allow myself to drag someone else in something that shouldn't be there, for for them to be hurt later. Because, I don't know. No one would really know. And you're never going to know from her, because she doesn't tell the truth. As far as she's concerned, truly, I search my soul and I can't say I'm sorry about anything that I've said, and I've said nothing that's not true when it comes to her. And if I've said something um, in a mean way, like if I call her a lying trash, well, you know what? That's the way I see her, and that I can't stop that. Now I don't have really any hatred anymore, or any. I don't have too much anger for her no more, and it's become easier for me. But am I going to go away? No. Whether anyone else ever watches or hears anything, I'm still going to have to be around. But I got to be more mindful of what I respond to and how I respond, because that bothers me that I say one thing and then I allowed that very thing to creep right up in, and I can't do that. I am not going to leave that for my children or grandchildren or anybody that I might have went to school. I don't want no one to ever um, look at it as face value and say, well, Lord, she's doing just what she supposedly didn't want to do. You know, I drug someone else in there, and I shouldn't have done that. Just like she does, you know, I was thinking about how she drugged my sister's name and saying my sister made the same choice she did, which that's not true. And you know, and I will be talking. Like I said, I won't say nothing until I talk to her son and see. I mean, he might say something himself. That'd be up to him. Um, or maybe we just won't say nothing at all. And then I was thinking about everything else that she said about me personally. You know, I got to deal with that. I don't need to drag no one else in it. So I do want to apologize in case he does ever see it or sees it now. Or I mean, I honestly, if I had a long future ahead of me, I wouldn't say anything publicly, because it's so humiliating to live your whole life to, you know, present yourself in a good manner, you know, a proper manner, you know, sitting with your legs crossed and keeping your hands off the table. Don't put your elbows on the table, and, you know, just all the manners and things that we were taught. I, I don't know. I really felt bad about the lesson I learned on my own today, and how much it bothered me that you know, there's times where I do, you know, I shouldn't have done that, and I really feel bad because, you know, I'm not going to judge anybody. I know that judgment is going to be individual, and it should be anyway. I mean, we ought to be judging ourselves every night before we close our eyes, because, you know, when you have trouble sleeping, well, you know, sometimes you need to get up and and search through the soul and see what you done that day, whether there's a higher power or not. You know, it's up. If you can't rest, well, find out why, because there's something there. You know, I know my instincts and my conscience usually are always on track. And, you know, I do want to say this. Uh, just the garbage that's been coming from her lately. You know, she's just saying I'm saying all kinds of things, and I'm not saying any of that. And you know, asking her to show proof is ridiculous, because she won't. She can't. There is none. I I want everyone to know, again, let me reiterate it, I would never do anything to anyone's grave. I have a daughter that passed away. I would never do anything. Now, do I have enough sense to know that they're not really in that spot, that their soul left their body that day that they left? I know, because I've sat with my mother and I sat with my daughter when they took their last breath. And some of you can understand what I'm saying. You can you see the light that's called life. You see it leave. You see it leave, and so it puts life in perspective for you, because you know when that they're not there no more. Because if you thought for 1 second they were there, you'd be digging the hole up. So, you know, if you experience that, in a way, it's a blessing and a curse. You know, depends. But I do know that, and I would never do anything to hurt anyone's grave or any. Personally, I don't want to hurt anyone, except for the one. I really I have no problem with that anymore. I've been hurt too much, but I'm not going to drag no one else in it and hurt them. And she knows what I can say about what her little statement was the other day. So I'm just going to be clear about one thing. I have encountered every single thing pretty much, except, now the trans thing. No, I haven't had to deal with that personally here at home, but I know plenty of people. I've been in the public for a while, working, and so I've met quite a few people. Um, I don't have a problem with what they do. I may not personally want to be that way myself, but I'm not going to tell you you can't be that way. That's up to you, and that is up to your conscience. And that's up to your belief system. And if that's going to be up to you, because I believe each one of us are individuals. I don't have a problem with that, and I don't have a problem with race or anything else. I'm a very equal opportunity person, and I have to be. What kind of hypocrite would I be if I wasn't? And believe me, my children have taught me many lessons. My grandchildren are they're they have their father is part Mexican, and I've had people come into my home and say things, and I'm gonna tell you something. They left really quickly because you're not gonna do that here. Um, I've had to deal with this surprise announcement that one of them was bisexual. Well, it was a few years, and I've learned one thing about this. I don't have to like or approve. That's not for me to do because it's just not. That's up to them. That's personally, I don't, and and after I kind of got over a shock of it, I'm like, well, Lord, don't you bring home nobody ugly. I can't handle that. I can handle this, but not all of it. But we got through that, and that's not the case now, and for now, anyhow, I don't know. But it bothered me that it just bothered me that she would use my words to make it sound that I would just drag someone in it or hurt someone just because of something that I may not personally do or be approving of, but I still care about them. And like I said, he's never done anything to me personally. In fact, he was very helpful a few times. So to do that would be really wrong because, like I said, I have nothing really against him because he didn't show anything but they were young, and I'm sure there was mistakes on both parts, and I'm not going into it, but the way I was treated was okay. And from what I could see, there was nothing for me to gripe about. So I do want to, if this video is still around, and eventually everyone will come around and see it if it stays up long enough. And so I just want him to know that I am truly sorry, and I will not be feeding that kind of poison that she's putting out there anymore. But I still won't go away, and because that's what she wants me to do. And I'm still going to discuss everything with, just because my sisters are no longer here doesn't mean they didn't leave behind someone. They had children. So, to say things like that, not even knowing how much it would hurt their children to hear such thing, that's just wrong. And I don't want to be like that. And I don't want to be part of that. In fact, I'm hesitant because I just hate even say, look what she's saying. I don't want to do that. But I have to. I'm thinking, and if the time is right, and if I feel it in my soul, then I'll take care of it. But anyway, I just want to tell you all how much I appreciate each one of you, and how much I um, learn by reading comments, um, and I thank you for the growth. You're never too old to learn, and because of the way I do believe that I will be judged one day by one, that it's nice to have someone have the right words or say something that hits my soul and makes me stop and think, what am I putting out there? And the other day it happened to me. I said something in the chat, and then I was quickly to try to correct it, because it sounded like I was saying I cheated, but I was saying I cheated in a game of pool. But then, it really kind of struck me because I thought, wow, that could be really easily turned around and it would hurt someone that I wouldn't want to hurt. So I do apologize from the bottom of my heart. I don't want anyone to think that I would ever drag you in and hurt you. It bothers me that, like I also, the same night I got, um, she hurts people. And I could see where someone would probably not want to even say anything to me or for me because of the things that she can do. She hurts people. She strikes channels that have children that they work hard. So I'm going to be really thinking about that because I don't want to hurt. I don't want to be the cause of any hurt. And I don't want to be the one waving, and then they wave back and they get attacked by her because the real bully is her. And it's sad that, that we have to think about things like that. Like, can I say hi to this person without her attacking everything about them? So if you have to, just know I understand. I understand, and I hate it, but until she searches her own soul, if she has one still, that's on her. But I love all of you, and I appreciate you. And so did these guys. They need a bath. Yes, that's what we were going to talk about. But they decided to turn their face against me. Look at them. I want y'all to look at them. Some of them ain't even looking this way. And they just acting all snotty, and I had to really stop and think about this. Why are they treating me like that? Except for him. He ain't the brightest one in the group, but he is a star. He's a star. And he was the star of a couple of my little my first play and everything. And he's a star here. And that face, how can you not love that face? I'm telling you, he's a keeper. So anyway, we're going to tell y'all good night. We love you, and maybe we'll introduce the crazy ones in the back there another day. So good night, everyone, or good morning, whichever it might be for you. For me, it's kind of both. I didn't sleep much, but I'm planning on going back to bed here shortly because now I had to work my conscience. So I'll talk to you guys later.